Hi, I'm Randolph Miller, and welcome to Bounce Around Charleston. We have a wonderful show prepared for you this week. First, we have Matty Stanislaus of the Environmental Protection Agency. He will talk about a food recovery summit here in Charleston. And then Representative Wendell Gilliard will talk about that wonderful 17-year event, turkey giveaway and feeding the homeless and the veterans. And then Minister Carl Bright will talk about a play, a musical at the Congregational Church that depicts the life of Denmark Vesey. And then to close out the show, Costello and Company. You don't want to miss it here on Bounce Around Charleston. Okay, we're here on Bounce Around Charleston, and standing here with me is Matty Stanislaus. Welcome to Bounce Around Charleston.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And your correct title is?
Sure, I'm the Assistant Administrator for the U.S. EPA.
The Environmental Protection Agency.
That's right.
Okay, so you're in Charleston, South Carolina. Why not tell our viewers why you're here?
Sure, for the first ever food summit, we brought together stakeholders, the private sector, state and local government, the federal government, really take a look at the opportunities to address a real problem both in the U.S. and globally. Roughly every year, about 35 million tons.
35 million tons.
Of food gets thrown to landfills and incinerators.
Wow, yeah. 35, that's a lot.
It is a lot.
So in this food recovery summit, what are your talks about?
Talks about, well, what kind of strategies can we implement to really bring about, first, reducing the amount of waste in the first instance. How do we make sure food is kept as food?
Yes.
You know, so for example, of families, and what kind of practices can the families do to buy for their menu?
Okay.
What kind of practices can the commercial sector do? You know, things like auditing and tracking.
Okay.
You know, and then if there's still food left over, how can we make sure that food is going to feed the hungry?
Correct.
In this country, we have about 44 million, 1 in every 5 people in this country go hungry for at least a portion of the day. So we could really help address a social problem in this country.
You know, I visited your summit, and I heard someone use the illustration that sometimes we go to the grocery store and they say, buy one, get 3 free. And then you wonder, when are you going to ever get to the 3? And you're still dealing with the 1. And that then causes food waste.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, it's about whether it's a family or a business, how do we best manage from the initial decision to purchase to how do we produce food and maximize the use of food. And I should just note that this is also part of an environmental issue.
Okay.
The 35 million tons that goes to landfills, or a portion that goes to landfills, creates methane, one of the most powerful greenhouse gases.
Wow.
So as you know, the president is aggressively trying to address the climate change problem. He's planning to go to Paris in a couple of weeks to meet with global leaders. So it's an opportunity for individuals, for business leaders to save money. Every family throws away about $1,600 a year.
$1,600 every year.
Yeah.
I wrote that down.
Yes.
You all said that the other day.
Yeah. And the commercial sector throws away $161 billion every year. So this is a pocketbook issue.
Wow.
This is a social issue, and it's an environmental issue.
So as a consumer, what can I do to help?
So one, I think recognizing that you can be part of the solution, part of the solution environmentally, part of the solution socially, and save money. So you could begin with buying for your menu, planning for your menu. What do you need for your menu, as opposed to buy and then figure it out.
Yeah. So it's called planning.
It's called planning first. That's right.
So, okay, so what are you all suggesting to the public that we do?
Well, I think different segments of the public. So I think that there's a role that families can have. Our discussions with you and faith-based leaders.
Yes.
I think faith-based leaders have a tremendous opportunity to really speak to their congregation.
Correct.
Because you all have a voice in your community, a very powerful voice in your community, as to the current impact, current waste of food in society, and what people can do to buy for your menu. But people are still going to have a little bit leftover food. When you have leftover food, you can send it to food banks. And what we were trying to do also is educate everyone that there's a perception of liability, which in fact is not correct. There's a federal law that provides indemnification if people provide food and donate food to food banks.
Okay, let me ask you this question. On canned goods, on products, there's a date.
That's right.
Okay. What does that date mean?
Well, that date is a sale by date. That's a commercial date. It's a market date. It does not mean the food is bad. So one of the things that we've been trying to educate people is that you could still eat food. Be it food banks or families, you can still eat food that exceeds the sell by date.
Is there a certain limit on that date, or how would we know?
Well, that's part of our educational campaign to figure out how do we best communicate. One, not limiting yourself by sale by date, but then there's a basic judgment that we all use. We've all used growing up. When we can judge something to be bad.
Yes. Okay, so then, if a person wants to know more about the Food Recovery Summit, where can they go to see it?
So we have an EPA website.
Okay.
It's a food recovery website, and we'll provide that the specific link to that website.
We'll make sure it's on. Okay. Yeah. And we need to do that so that we can know exactly what we're doing, just even right here in America.
That's right.
So we won't have the food waste.
Exactly.
And then I also said, as we close the segment, I also said when you're going to the schools to talk to them about the food waste situation, because at schools, I guess they waste food. Children waste it all the time, huh?
Oh, that's right. And we recently recognized what's called the Food Recovery Challenge, where we challenge schools, challenge universities, challenge businesses to be one of the leaders. So one of the recent challenge award winners was a university in California. And so what they did was they started tracking how much food they currently wasted. They went to serving by plate, to reduce the total amount of volume.
Wow.
So that resulted, along with education, a significant loss in food loss.
Okay.
Well, tremendous reduction in food loss.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to put up the website, towards the end of the show, so people will know where to go to gain more information about food recovery.
Okay, great.
Maddie, thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Charleston. Okay, right after this break, you're going to hear from Representative Wendell Gilliard talking about feeding the hungry and helping everyone have a happy Thanksgiving right after this break.